Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika Ming, and I am currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in human service at the Indian River State College. This video is for my addiction family counseling class, in which I was given the opportunity to choose a movie dealing with the family dynamics and addiction, and basically discuss the family using the approaches, the assessment, and interventions that I have learned from the model throughout this semester. Now, based on the movie of my choice, which is called Four Good Days, the family in the movie basically is grappling with the challenges of heroin addiction affecting one of its members, and the role within the family is clearly defined, with the mother taking on the caretaking role of expressing her concerns, while the individual struggling with the addiction is experiencing feelings of guilt and shame. Now, the family dynamics are strained, leading to communication breakdown, relationship difficulties, and the impact of the addiction itself. Now, this movie, in my eyes, shed light on what goes on in, the family world of dealing with a drug addict, and also their mental health, which in this movie it shows that addicts, need to be loved better and not punished better. It clearly also shows that recovery is not about the addict themselves, but it's about the entire family. But in this film, 31-year-old Molly, played by Mila Kunis, who is struggling with a drug addiction and needs to stay sober for 4 days before she can receive the opiate antagonist shot, which that is a maintenance assistant treatment that kind of let you feel immune to the drug, or I should say the feeling of being high. Also, her mother, Deb, who is played by Glenn Close, who is, actively involved and would do anything during those 4 days to ensure that her daughter basically, stay sober and get the help that she needs. Molly experiences withdrawal symptoms while struggling with her relationship with her family and her children. In the movie, just to give you a little synopsis of it, the movie was based on a true life character of a mother and daughter by the name of Amanda Wendler and Libby Alexander. However, the movie is based on a Washington Post article that was done by Ellie Saslow titled How is Amanda? So it's a true story. The movie was aired in, I believe it was April of 2020. And I must say, this movie is going to have you feeling all sorts of emotions. I definitely recommend that you take the time and watch it. It's a really, really awesome movie, really good movie. It had me crying. It had me feeling angry. It had me feeling sympathetic. It's going to have you feeling all kinds of emotions. I definitely do recommend watching it. Now, addiction family roles. The addiction being addressed in this family, as I mentioned, is heroin addiction. And it's a serious and complex issue that can have far reaching effects on an individual and their loved ones. In this case, the mother is playing a central role in expressing her concerns and taking on a caretaking role of being a support system to her daughter, while her daughter is, struggling with the addiction and dealing with, as I mentioned, guilt and shame. Now, these roles are common in families dealing with addiction, whereas the family member often take on specific roles to cope with the challenges presented by substance abuse. Now, today I will be focusing on some approaches and recommendations and assessments and so on. Now, the systematic approach, which is an approach that emphasizes the interconnectedness of a family member and how the addiction of one member can impact the entire family system. This approach views the family as a complex system where each member's behavior affects and is affected by others. Now, in the movie, this is evident throughout, whereas the character Molly, who has been suffering from heroin addiction for over a decade, has caused disconnection with her father, her sister. It cost her to even lose custody of her two kids, and even partially ruined the relationship with her mother and her stepdad, because she kept relapsing. She couldn't be trusted. Each time she will come around, she will steal from her mom. She didn't care what it was. She will just steal from her to support her habit. The multidimensional family therapy. This approach targets the multiple aspects of the family system, including communication patterns, relationships, and individual behavior. Now, this type of therapy aims to address the underlying issues contributing to addiction while improving the family dynamics and functioning. Now, in the movie, the scene where Deb finally decided to take Molly to the detox center, I think this approach basically it clearly shows that, even though she, gave up on helping her because of the constant repetitive behavior, she actually, decided to take her to the center. During the feelings, you can also see the withdrawal feeling. You could see where, the mom she's so in tune with everything that's going on with her. It was like she was almost going through the whole withdrawal process with her, because she was seen in the movie, imagining the antagonizing feeling that her daughter was going through, the agony, the pain. Even, despite her 14th failed attempts, she was still, willing and able to do it with her again. Also, she was adamant about, still trying to persuade the father to get involved and to help come on board with the support, to help her one last time to go through this. So she was doing everything she could, trying to get the sister involved, her ex-husband to take the kids over, to let her have a relationship with the kids, and so on and so forth. Now, I believe that one approach that was lacking would be the behavioral family therapy approach, because this approach clearly, it's where the family is counseled to identify high-risk situations, as well as understanding the internal and external cues of experiencing um, what they go through, basically, and to support or weaken the presence of to strengthen the presence of the addict's behavior. Now, there wasn't any therapy session that they actually went to and sit. There were several, well, not several, but there was a scene in the movie where, she went to talk to kids in school about, her experience and so on. And I think if that was done, this type of therapy well, they were exposed to, they could actually sit, and the mother would understand, and maybe some ways how she treated her, how she, just basically gave up on her whenever she did return back on the streets. I think that wouldn't have been the issue, and she would have probably been clean long before it took the 15th time. So I definitely thought that was lacking. They should have actually gotten professional help and, counseling, where they could sit and, understand each other, and the mother understanding her sickness. Now, substance abuse subtle screening inventory. This assessment tool helps to identify substance abuse and assessing the severity of the addiction. Now, it provides crucial information about the individual's substance use pattern and the impact on the family. Now, in this movie, this was very, very much evident. This scene actually was the thriller of the movie, whereas you could see where the screening, after she went to the detox center, she had her screening done by the doctor, and that's when he recommended the opiate antagonist shot to her, which is, she would get it every month. It would let her feel immune to getting high. In other words, it would give her that high feeling, but not from the drug. It basically mimics the heroin feeling. So that was definitely evident in the movie. Potential interventions: improving communication, encouraging open and honest communication within the family can help address misunderstandings and build stronger relationship. I would recommend this type of intervention so that the addict can feel a sense of responsibility. So this wasn't really initiated in the movie, so to speak. They do communicate, but I think a lot of the times when certain questions will come up, the mother would just literally shut down about certain things. But yeah, this intervention is so that the addict can feel some sense of responsibility. And I think at some point they were trying actually to give her that type of feeling, whereas they allowed her to connect with her kids and so on. But in most of it, it was lacking in the movie. They didn't really have that type of communication, honest communication going on, because the mother couldn't trust her. She was watching her constantly, as if, a child, you can't trust her, because the least little chance you give her, she's going to slip up, which that did happen. So yes, definitely that was the case there. Also, addressing enabling behavior. This is identifying and addressing enabling behavior that may be perpetrating the addict. This can help the family create a healthy environment for recovery. In this instance, I would refer the scene where the ex-husband, I think, in my opinion, he should allow her to co-parent alone, because he's a deterrent to her recovery process. In the movie, he actually invited to come spend the night over and spend time with the kids, and all he did was just ask her to go to her dealer and get him pills to ease or soothe his pain. And basically, being exposed in that environment, she's going to go back to shooting heroin, and that's exactly what she did. So she basically defeated the whole detox process, and that in turn caused problem, because she had to be, the whole aim was that she had to be detox for 7 days, and she needed only to go 4 more days, and she just threw it right away. Now, resistance to change. Family members may resist making necessary changes to address addiction and improve the family dynamics. Now, this definitely applies to where the father in the movie refuses to change his mind about, being supported to his daughter's 15th attempt to recovery. I mean, it was just too much for him. He was over it. He didn't want to have anything to do with her. He just basically gave up on her. Now, I will urge you again to watch the movie. It's a great movie, and I definitely recommend it. This also allowed me to also explore other movies similar to these, just to get a sense of what families really do go through. Now, resources and support, you or anyone, if you do, can, reach out to any local centers to provide you with information for treatment, or to offer, treatments to addicts. So you can even Google, Google will give you a lot of information. It will give you links to hotlines. There is the 1-800 number, which is 1-800, I believe is 622-HELP. You can always reach out. It's anonymous, and they will refer you to centers that can help within your area, or recommend therapy sessions, or whatever it is that is for your what your treatment is, or your addiction is, whatever that is recommended for your purpose. The community support groups, they're always there. The Al-Anon, or the Al-Anon, I think it is, support group for family members to connect with others, facing these challenges. You also have, like I said, therapists, counselors, they are always suggested. They are licensed therapists and counselors who specializes in these in specific addictions and counseling for the families, for the addicts, everyone. There are a lot of professional help out there, and I do would like for anyone or yourself that is suffering to reach out to these platforms and get the help you need. Now, I will say in closing that addressing heroin addiction with a family system really requires a comprehensive approach that considers the interconnection of the family member, utilizing the appropriate assessments to understand the family dynamics and implement intervention tailored to that specific need is crucial. So, by incorporating these approaches, assessments, and interventions and resources, counselors can help to support families and to help these addicts, to overcome their addiction, and allow them to improve and have a overall great life. So I urge you today to seek help and also watch the movie. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video.